Hey everybody, my name is John Curry. I'm the chairman of Vets for Vets, an organization made up of veteran NFL and NBA cheerleaders and dancers supporting military and veteran organizations. I'm also a veteran, serving 32 years in the Navy, and I retired in 2007 as a Master Chief Petty Officer. Due to the coronavirus, Vets for Vets has suspended all their operations. We're no longer doing events right now. But we thought it'd be kind of fun to catch up with some of our members, and we thought the best way to do that was through Instagram Live. So today, let's see if Kimberly is online, and she is. So let's try to add her to the conversation. Hello, Kimberly. How are you? Let's adjust my camera here.
I know. That's it. There we go.
Perfect.
Hey, John.
Hey, it looks like it's nice sunny weather over there.
Oh, it's gorgeous. This is my new afternoon routine on sunny days. I sit out here.
Nice. Hey, before we get too far into the interview, tell us what professional sports team you perform for and how long did you dance for that team?
I danced for the Portland Trailblazers for 2 years. I danced in 2002, 03, 202, 03, and 03, 04.
Nice. And what was, and that was, did they make the playoffs that year?
They made the playoffs that first year.
Hmm.
Yes, the first year that I danced. And it was, I believe it was either the first time in a while or it was the end of the streak. Now I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
That might have been the end of a streak because I think my second year on the team was the first time in a while that we didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that because of the virus, they even canceled the season this year. So hopefully they figure
Oh,
out some way to make up for it.
it's so sad. I have a feeling, unfortunately, that just kind of like everything else in the world, it might be done in a wash and we start fresh in the fall.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hey, so you are an original member of Vets for Vets, joining in 2011. This is our 10th year. I know for a fact you've done lots of events, and I'm curious, what surprises you the most when you meet military veterans?
I think honestly, a few things. One, military veterans are the most polite, wonderful people in the whole entire planet. And just, it's always such a pleasure, and I learn so much from them. But one of my favorite things that we do is going in and visiting at hospitals and care centers. And I don't know if surprised is the right word, but I guess a little bit. I'm always surprised just how appreciative they are of our visit and people just taking the time to listen to their stories and to learn about them.
Yeah.
And it's surprising because, I feel like we're getting equal amounts of joy from it. I really enjoy hearing their stories and getting to know them. And they are really getting a lot of genuine joy from the company and sharing their stories.
Yeah, it's funny because when you walk in the door at a hospital or a nursing home to visit a veteran, the first thing in your mindset is that you're going to go in there and you want to thank him for his service and for what he did to sacrifice his first country. And what's the first thing they say to
I
you?
know they say thank you for being here. I know it's like it's a little like thank you competition. Like who can thank the other person the fastest? Like no, thank
I
you.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what other kind of things? I guess what I'm leaning at, like what about like active duty military? What's the one kind of thing that surprises you? Like when you meet a soldier or a sailor that's active duty, that's, currently in the military,
Hmm.
what's one of the things that kind of surprises you as far as they're concerned?
I don't know. Surprise is a tricky word, I guess, for
Or
me.
what,
But
yeah,
I just I
what's the
they're
impression, I guess?
yeah, they're always so again so kind, so courteous, and so willing to like educate us. I obviously have no military background myself, so I genuinely have a lot of questions when we have been to some different bases, and they're very, very willing to answer all of our questions and to just educate us and share with us about their roles and all their gear and equipment and what it is that they do differently this base versus that base. And I feel sometimes like I walk out of there and my brain is overflowing with information. It's just a completely different language, right? It's a kind of a whole world that the non-military folk don't know about. And then always just kind of leave with bursting with pride too. And so impressed of the sacrifice and the commitment of active duty military.
Yeah. I think, are you ever surprised or get the impression that sometimes you're the one that has to make the move to meet somebody?
Yes, how shy everybody is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
Like,
I was getting at.
yeah, no, that's so funny, John, because I was thinking as soon as you started to go there, I'm like, oh, I can think of a great example. When we were visiting, was it out in the Dalles
Yes.
that we were having
Yeah.
lunch, and
Yes.
everybody is so shy and quiet. We're like, no, 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 like really, I really want to learn about you. Like, tell me about your family and tell me. Yes, that's funny. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, that's always the thing that surprises me, and I know that going into it, and that's
Hmm.
why sometimes when I'm there with the events, I'll tell the members, "Hey, you're going to have to be the aggressive one here.
Yeah, it's
If you're
true.
not aggressive, you're not going to talk to anybody
Yeah.
because they're very respectful of you and your space and the boundaries. That you're going to have to be the one that initiates conversations or photos, and a lot of times they're kind of taken aback by how nice you are.
Yeah,
You know, like wow.
I think there is like like maybe a stigma going both ways. I think there is
Mhm.
something that, you people maybe assume that you go in and you're going to meet these really like, macho buff kind of people with like this attitude, and they are so kind and so sweet and so considerate. And I think sometimes they think that we are going to be really standoffish and we're like, hey, sit down, tell me your life story. And I think that surprise kind of goes both ways too.
Yeah, that's very true. It's always interesting to see that those dynamics in play when we do events like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we know that you're Vets for Vets. We know that you were an NBA dancer for a couple of years. Outside of doing performances and doing activities for Vets, what kind of things do you do on the outside? What is like your career and all that kind of stuff?
Well, my number one job is I'm a mom. I've
Hmm.
got two kiddos that are 9 and 11.
Hmm.
So when the world is normal,
That's pretty full time.
yeah, that's pretty full time. John knows I
Yeah.
am driving back and forth to dance or to baseball or to swim or piano or Girl Scouts or something. But I am also a first grade teacher,
Mm.
and those two things that's about 25 hours out of a day right there.
I was going to say that's more than 24 hours a day for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, at
Okay,
least.
well, being a teacher, so we know here in Oregon that well, all the schools are closed down. And now that we're in our second month of staying home and social distancing, how has the coronavirus altered your day to day life?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So the first 2 weeks, I think, before we realized that we were in this for the long haul, I think everybody had a little bit of a like, oh, a longer spring break, like that's not so bad.
Right.
And then I think as we all kind of realized that we were going to be in this for a while, as Oregon closed schools for the school year, we've been forced to come up with new plans. And as a teacher, it's been really interesting. We keep using this. It's like, one of those like, oh gosh, not this, phrase again, but we are, building the boat while we sail it.
Hmm.
Nobody has ever trained and prepared for turning a public school into a remote learning situation. So, my days right now are a lot of balancing, trying to help my kids who are doing their remote schooling, who luckily are third and fifth grade and super duper independent and not little ones because I can't imagine. And then I spend a lot of time in what I call the office closet in my house. It's a small, tiny space, but it is quiet, and I can go up there and I do a lot of recording my lessons so that I can put them out to my students and they can watch them and learn from them whenever it works for them.
Hmm.
Because the school that I teach at is not one that has a device in every family and two adults home. I
That's
just,
challenging.
yeah, and it's super challenging. And I keep trying to remind myself because I've been, just like everybody, we've been getting frustrated with various elements of being trapped inside with the whole COVID situation. But what it looks like in my family is really the best case scenario,
Yeah.
right? Like my husband is working from home. I am working from home. My two kids are schooling from home. We are all healthy. We are still fortunate enough to have our jobs. We have space where I can go to an office closet and be, alone to do my recording and my work. And for the most part, my kids get it and don't interrupt me in the middle for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, but with I know a lot of people, it looks really different. In a lot of the families of my students, it looks really different. And so trying to find out figure out how to still connect with them as students, how to connect with those families, how to provide support, and hopefully figure out a way to do a little bit of teaching along the way to kids and families who this is affecting a lot more. So
Yeah.
tricky, tricky.
So your response brought up the question to me because normally, okay, so you have three jobs that you're talking about. You're a mother, you're a teacher, you're a wife.
Yep.
And normally those things are all separated. You're a mom in the morning, you become a teacher, and then you become a mom and then a wife. These are all together at one time. So
Yeah.
like you're teaching, your kids are home, so you still got to be a mom, and your husband's home, so you still got to be the wife. So it's like,
Yeah.
instead of having, you can delegate time frames, like time
Yeah.
management, it's all together all the time.
There's
And that's got to
none of
be
that.
crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like this week is the first week that I've been able to say, okay, I've got a little enough of a routine going with the remote learning thing that I can say, okay, here are my hours that I'm going to work today. And it's really hard because when we're all working from home, the entire world kind of feels like, oh, you're home, you're working from home. I can contact you and you can work anytime I need you to.
Who's done that, Kim?
I don't know, John. That's so weird.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I know. Oh yeah, but that's been really hard is finding those boundaries, just for my own personal mental thing, and to get that out with my families that I'm working with, through school, and my kids. The rule kind of is right now: if mommy is in the office closet talking to herself, don't come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't hear my voice, then come on in and ask me whatever question you need. But if the door is closed and you hear me talking to myself,
Means
don't
time out.
interrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, do the children understand what's going on?
My kids totally do. I think they are just old enough that they can understand it without being too scared,
Yeah.
which I think has been tricky. I know from some of my students even, because they're just enough younger that I think it's a little harder for them to understand it without being scared.
Right.
I've been super proud and impressed with my kids. They have not argued over, nope, we're not having play dates, and we can do this, we can't do that. They totally get it. I think we do watch the news at night, which when my kids were younger I didn't do, but now
Right.
they're just old enough that I'm like, nope, here, this is, you need to understand. And I think it's helped. My daughter's a fifth grader, so there's a lot of milestone things that she's missing this year, moving from elementary school to middle school, and she has been bummed but not devastated. And I think that's because she understands, hey, it's not your school, it's not your town, it's not even your state. Like, the world closed down, sweetie.
Yeah.
And she's totally, really, really understanding that, and it hasn't been a big issue for us. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you going to tell her that Girl Scout cookies might not happen next year?
I'm gonna, only if mommy doesn't want to be the cookie mom again.
Then
Yeah.
you should throw it. Yes, April 1st is past. It would have been a good joke.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we do have a couple questions for social media here. Question one from Steve on Facebook. What are some of your favorite memories as an NBA dancer?
That's so easy because I could probably talk for like 8 years, but I won't. Back in my day, I can say that now because it's been so
Yeah.
long. Back in my day, the
Yeah, it
dancers
has been 18 years, right?
I know. I mean, it's been a while, right?
Yeah.
The dancers used to get to sit literally on the court, which they don't anymore. They stand in the tunnels. And there are pros and
Big
cons to that.
difference.
Yeah, huge difference. Huge difference.
Huge. Right.
Huge. And there are pros and cons to that. And I have a picture of this moment that one of the photographers captured and sent to me on a CD-ROM way back in the day, because that was before you could email pictures.
Right.
But on the sideline doing our thing, sitting, right up against the knees of the front row. And I want to say it was Scottie Pippen, but now I don't remember who it was, honestly, but came barreling over us. And we were just about to go out to do this kind of cowboy themed dance. And we had our cowboy hats like sitting right next to us on the floor. And one of my teammates got smashed, just absolutely. The hat got flattened. And it was a dance.
Do you remember who that was?
It was Melissa.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was a dance that I don't think we all particularly loved. and didn't love our hats. And so we
Oh
were
no.
kind of secretly griping about it a little bit. And then her hat gets smashed right before we have to go out and dance. And it was just so hysterical. I laughed so hard. I was crying because it was
Did
just,
she go with the hat on, or did she go out without the hat?
oh no, she went with that. She like popped it back out. So it looked like it had been dug out of a dumpster, but that was pretty funny. But so many things, being on the sidelines, so fun.
That's a really good point, because those girls now don't experience that. Being on the baseline during a live game is really crazy.
It is so different. I mean, and it's the experience. I mean, these are huge. These NBA players are huge, right?
And you hear the conversations.
You hear the conversations, which is way better than when they do mic'd up on TNT. Way better. And how quickly the game moves, and how huge these humans are when you are sitting on the floor. It's a really different perspective.
Yeah. I would say my comment on that is that when you're on the floor like that and you're basically part of the game in a way, you really have to be paying attention to what's happening, what's going on in the game, what the score is, the time is, and all that kind of stuff. And you can't like be chit-chatting, because some player could be rolling into you.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, they're in the tunnel. Sometimes they're probably not even paying attention to the game. They're like, oh, this, that.
Because you don't have to know. You don't have to know in the same way. Yeah.
Right. It's a completely different atmosphere. Hey, so I have another question from Rachel on Facebook. What was your first event supporting military veterans? Now, I know you were we were original member of Vets for Vets in 2011, and I'm pretty sure your first event was visiting the Portland VA hospital. But way before that, back in 2003, you did something else. Can you talk about that?
Yes, this is what got it all started. So it was my first year on the team, wasn't it? Was it 0203?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it was the best in the West year. Yep.
We went March of 03, right.
Yep. So we went to Fort Hood, Texas, and
our
team, yes, got invited, and our team put together a full-on show. So we didn't just go out and dance. We did every style. We have girls that were great singers. I actually tapped. I was in a number that did tap dancing during that show, but we put on a full show. And that was
who
great.
Was in the audience?
It was mostly families, because a lot of the
children.
Yeah, families and children. Well, and I was going to say, the best part of that experience for me, I loved the show. The show was
I know
great.
what you're going to say, I think.
Yeah, was teaching the class.
Oh, yeah.
So we did a show, and it was for all the family members of the people living at that base at Fort Hood. And because most of the service people had been deployed at that point, or were about to be deployed. So it was mostly wives and kids. And part of our whole experience there, and we had a lot of really cool experiences there, but we taught a kids dance clinic to the children of the families there. And I, obviously, first grade teacher and dancer, that is like my wheelhouse. That's what makes me happiest. It combines all the things I love to do. So that was maybe one of the things that brought me the most joy, was getting to teach that little dance clinic, and teach them a dance, and they got to dance on stage and do that for the kids there.
If I recall, there's a great picture of you with two of your kids from your group. That's a great photo. I remember that very well.
Yep.
I was there because I was there to document the trip, and you're right. That's kind of what the backbone of Vets for Vets was that trip there. But I do remember there was one emotional moment that I'm thinking of that was kind of a tearjerker for
Ione. Are you talking about? Yes. Yeah. So Ione was singing, and the name of the song is totally escaping me right now.
Mariah Carey.
Yep.
You're a hero or hero.
Yeah, hero. Yeah, it was a hero.
Yeah.
And this was actually, speaking of me tap dancing, that was right before the dance that we tapped in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Remember this because I remember standing off stage going, well, this is an awkward transition, because I literally stood out on stage, came out and wiped tears from my face. So Ione is singing beautifully, Hero, and a little girl, an adorable, sweet little girl in the audience, walks up the stairs, walks on stage, and hands her a flower while she was singing.
I thought it was a flag.
Oh, a flag. You're right.
It was a little American flag.
Little American flag. Yeah. And not a dry eye in the house, including all the people backstage who are about to have to go on after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment, and and it's on video someplace. I should actually try to bring that up there. But I remember what a great trip that was, and how grateful the troops were. And when we got back, that was, I think it was the coach, Dee Dee, at the time.
Mhm.
And I remember she called me, and I think that was, she said, we want to do more stuff for the
Yeah.
military, and that's the
Yeah.
whole process the of going up to the VA hospital in Portland, visiting
That
the
was when
sick,
that
and
started. Yeah.
that's when it all started. Yeah,
Yeah, because well,
crazy.
we did that trip, and it was. I mean, there was no way you could be there and experience that in the genuine appreciation from the families and the troops and their kids, and just go through that experience and not be like, okay, we need to do more of this. Like,
Yeah,
why don't we do this more?
yeah.
So it was perfect, John, that you were the one that was there.
Yeah, isn't that kind of ironic?
It was that you were
Yeah,
the one there documenting, and then you kind of became our, liaison for all of the VA hospital visits and all those things. And then Vets for Vets was born many years later
yep.
because all of us old retired people from dancing were like,
Wanted to continue.
yeah, we're like, yeah, why can't we still do that? That feels
Yeah.
like I don't want to high kick myself in the face, but I do want to go visit and appreciate and
Yeah.
honor those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a great run. And once this is all done, and we get past this thing, we'll start doing some more stuff like that. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for
Yeah.
participating in our very first live Instagram chat. Let's hope that our lives get back to normal sooner than later, and we can start going back to our real lives again.
Yeah, I want to get my kiddos back in the classroom. That's all I want more than anything.
Yeah.
I can live without going out to eat. I can live without a lot of the little luxuries, but
You do
I
change your
want,
perspective on things, don't you?
yep, I want all the kids back in the classroom where I know, especially like I said, the kids that I teach, I want them to be back to making sure that they have a safe place for 8 hours a day and 2 meals, and that's what I want. But it may
There
have
you
to wait
go.
till September.
Well, thanks a lot, Kim, and you take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.